Well, hi everyone, it's Nicola Cairncross here, and we're in between Christmas and New Year now, and this is actually one of my favourite times of year because I like to do some of the things that are a bit self-reflective and that sort of set me up, I feel, for the forthcoming year. I've just gone and done Jordan Peterson's understandmyself.com quiz, which is quite an extensive personality quiz, and it gives you a very, very comprehensive answer at the end of it about your different personality traits around what they call the big 5 personality traits. And it's really very good. I went and did it after watching Jordan Peterson's interview with Rob Moore about entrepreneurs and entrepreneurship, and I found that interview was so good and very different to the kind of thing you hear from Jordan Peterson, that I went and did the test, and I really enjoyed that. So now I'm going to go on and do the thing that I normally do at this time of year, which is to work out my roles and my goals for 2023. And I start out by drawing a big fat circle and metaphorically cutting that circle up into pie slices and deciding what my roles are going to be for 2023 and how much of my pie I want to allocate to each of those roles. And then when I've done that, I work out what my goals are for the forthcoming year in each of those roles. And I never let myself do more than 3 because I just feel that, entrepreneurs particularly get overwhelmed with too many things, but they can cope with just 3 things. So the next thing I do is I zone my diary according to the amount of importance I've given each slice of the pie. For example, if my mum role is 20% of my pie this year, then, which is quite easy because my son's in New Zealand, then I would then go and make sure that 20% of my diary time is apportioned to that role, whether that would be evenings and weekends or whether it would be sometimes during the day. I remember when the kids were little, I used to have quite a big slice of my afternoons allocated to being a mum because I had to pick them up at 3 o'clock, which certainly meant I got a lot more done during work time than I ever had hitherto, that's for sure. So allocate your diary according to your importance of each role. Don't have more than 5 roles in your life, otherwise you will find yourself very overwhelmed. This is all from Stephen Covey's 7 Habits of Highly Effective People, by the way, the whole thing about roles, goals and diary zoning. The other thing I like to do with diary zoning is I like to have certain days for certain activities, and that's also borne out in the great book Predictable Revenue by Aaron Hall. Predictable Revenue is a really great book if you're starting a business, if you're running a business. It talks about the different roles of marketing and sales and how if you're doing both roles, then you need to allocate your time accordingly because you can't be a salesman on the same day you're being a marketeer. So they would say for certain, if you're doing both roles in your business, then allocate, say, Monday for marketing and Friday for sales, and then the other 3 days you can actually deliver the product or service in your business. But I find zoning my diary really helps in terms of flow, in terms of creativity and flow. I like to start the week off with an admin day because I like to get all my cash flow forecasts updated. I want to get all my letters that have come in during the week that I might need to deal with done on a Monday, and I like to start the week ship shape and Bristol fashion, as they used to say in the olden days. So Mondays is admin day for me. Tuesdays is often a marketing day because I've got some ideas bubbling away under the surface. And then Wednesday is a sort of free day where I can do whatever I like in my business. Thursday's my delivery day. Thursday's my delivery day because that's the day that I host my weekly webinar support call for my clients, and also have any private calls that a client might have booked if they want to talk about something a bit more private. And in the afternoons, I co-host another webinar for a very good friend of mine and ex-client, and we look after his clients on the afternoon of Thursdays. And then on Friday, it's a sales and marketing day. So again, I'll do anything that needs doing. If it's networking, I tend to do it on a Friday. If I have meetings in person, which I don't do many of now, it's mainly on Zoom, and they're on Fridays too. So I've got my week nicely zoned out, so I know what kind of activities I'm going to be doing on which day, and I find that certainly helps with the flow of getting into the zone and doing my best on each task. The next thing I do is every single week I sit and think, what 3 things do I want to achieve in my business this week? And I usually do that on Monday, admin day. Why only 3 things? Because I think we all overestimate how much we can do in a week and underestimate what we can do in a month or a year. And I like to just keep it to 3 of everything. It just makes life easier. It's a bit like wearing black all the time. That makes life easier as well for me. So yes, I'll think about what 3 things do I want to achieve in my business this week, and then I'll think what 1 thing do I want to get done today that'll help me get those 3 things done in that week. So what 1 thing do I want to do this morning? What 1 thing do I want to do this afternoon? What 1 thing do I want to have achieved today overall? And are those all taking me towards the 3 things I want to achieve this week? Next thing I do is make sure I've got some buffer zone time in. Now this is important because I run an online diary, and if you're not careful with online diaries, you can end up being booked out every single hour. And while they're wonderful, you need to be able to get up to go to the loo and have a cup of tea occasionally. So I always put in some buffer zone, and I double the time I think I need as a buffer zone. So if, for example, I was going to put in quarter of an hour as a buffer zone, I'll put in half an hour. If I need to go to a meeting and I think I need half an hour to get there, I'll always put an hour in to get there. And I'll allow for an hour to get home as well, even if it's something quite local. Because I hate being late. I really hate it. I hate being late. I hate the feeling of being late. I hate being stressed out by being late. And I like to allow plenty of time, and I can always sit and meditate or listen to some music or watch a YouTube video if I get somewhere too early. There's always something to do at the other end, but you can't do anything extra when you're stressed out and late. And then finally, I've shown this to some of you before, but I have a black book. It's a moleskin notebook, and I take it everywhere. There's a new one, actually. I'm looking forward to starting this one because my other one's a little bit grubby on the outside. But yeah, I carry it with me all the time. It's got an elastic bit round it so it holds it shut. And on the left-hand side, I write down all the things like what do I want to achieve that week as a big picture. And then I write down anything that comes in during the week. So messages, if I need to talk to someone, if I've come across a brilliant resource, I'll write it all on the left-hand page. And on the right-hand page, I write very neat to-do lists. So my first thing on the right-hand page each week is what 3 things do I want to achieve in my business this week? And then I'll do what do I need to do today to make sure I'm moving towards those 3 things being accomplished in the week. And that is my time management system. It's my allocation of importance, it's allocation of time, it's simple tracking, and it's making sure that I'm only ever carrying 1 thing around with me, which I know has got absolutely everything in it. And I actually number them as well, so I know, and I put the date on as well, so I keep them all. So if I need to go back to something, I don't ever have to worry about missing something or losing something, and I can generally track it down. The other useful tip is if you've got something important in one of your pages, you can just go to the back of the book, and if you go through and number your pages as you go, if you write in the back of the book, you can put page 39, tips I want to share with Neil this week, because I've been looking at one of my friend's YouTube channels and I've come up with some tips for him to improve it, and I want to share that with him. But if I wanted to keep it, I could write it in the back of my book like an index, and I would just, if I was looking through for something important through several books, I could just literally skim down the index and find it again. So these are the tips I've accumulated over many years of being a creative, not very organised person who likes to be organised. That's the problem. I've got a war going on between my natural way of doing things and my desire for order and being organised. I hope these help you. I just thought I'd dash them off quickly while I was thinking about it and while I was sitting doing the personality test. And yeah, just go and that's another one I'm going to recommend to my clients now. So I always get them to do the Wealth Dynamics test, which is a Roger Hamilton test, which is online. I think you can get it for about $50 to $70. And that shows you your fastest route to the money. And then I'm going to be adding to that the understandyourself.com test by Jordan Peterson. So off you go and find out who you are, sort your year out and work out what you're going to be doing in your business over the next year. And I look forward to hearing about it in the comments below. Speak to you soon.